Hi, I'm Charles Malky, biologist and plant expert with Ivy Organics, 3-in-1 tree guard paint, and today we're here in a garden, an edible garden full of a lot of vegetables and fruits, and I'm basically going to give you the tour of how you can actually maximize the use of your space. And we're in a garden that actually only measures 650 square feet of growing space, and within that area we've grown over 20 fruit trees and a lot of vegetables. So let me give you the tour here and show you what we've got going on in the garden. This here over here is a Meyer lemon tree. It's a standard variety which will grow anywhere from 6 to 10 feet. All of the trees in this garden are also have only been here between 2 and 3 years. So everything you're looking at is under 3 years old. But you can see all of the blossoms here, and you can also see the fruit. And we're now in the month of June, so things are just starting to happen all over the place. Over here is another Meyer lemon. You can, if you zoom in over here, you can see all of the flowers, and then here are all the fruits. And then down here are actually the fruits from the flowering that happened a few months ago. Fruits and flowers. So the Meyer lemon variety. And right now it's about 4 feet tall. And if we continue over here, here's a third. So the goal was to create a hedge that's about 6 feet tall and, you know, basically separate parts of the garden. And if you actually take a look in here, you can actually see the honeybees are hard at work pollinating the flowers so that we have, you know, the maximum yield of fruits. And if you look in between, you'll actually see these milkweeds. And we've learned yesterday from our summer 2016 garden club video, which will be included on YouTube within the next week or two. So be sure to subscribe so you can actually watch this. But Lisa Novak, she's the director of the Theodore Payne Foundation in Sunland, California. And she was talking about the importance of planting California-specific native plants in your garden. So I wanted to show this garden to show like how things are going to evolve. This milkweed over here and this milkweed which is behind me of this variety is called a tropical milkweed. And these are actually milkweed specific plants to the monarch butterfly. It's the only plant that the monarch caterpillar will eat is milkweed. However, this tropical variety is not California native. It stays green year round, and it actually, the fact that it stays green year round, actually it'll support the spore, which could actually harm the butterfly. There's a lot of details you can actually read on the internet. I don't want to go into too much depth, but the goal is we're going to be eventually phasing this plant out and doing more California native milkweed and doing a lot more other California native plants to attract all the native insects and birds and wildlife to help support and actually maximize the value of the fruits and the vegetables we get out of this garden. So this here is the tropical milkweed. And as we continue over here, this here is a Eureka lemon, semi-dwarf variety. I'm 6 feet tall and this one's already at about 7 to 8 feet. And I've been pruning the top. This plant can go up to about 10 feet tall as a semi-dwarf tree. A standard will grow anywhere from 15 to 25 feet. So again, the goal is to maintain a hedge along this side as well. And you can see again the fruits. And then we've got these small fruits over here that just flowered last week. And this here is the flowers from this week. So you can see there's a lot of activity going on here in the garden. This here is another Eureka lemon tree and a third Eureka lemon tree. And again, you can see the fruits and the flowers on this plant. And then back here, I've got a Lisbon lemon tree. And this also has quite a bit of fruit on it. The Lisbon lemon tree, if I were to pick, is the most desirable to be planting in the California climate. This was, and I believe it still is, a huge percentage of the lemons produced in California are of the Lisbon variety. It's the most drought tolerant and the most frost tolerant, more so than the Eureka lemon. So if you see a Lisbon lemon, this is the one to go for. They're actually practically identical, but again, the difference being the higher frost tolerance and the higher drought tolerance. And if you come here behind me, you'll take a look at my multi-trunk fig tree, which is growing these 3 branches. And every single leaf is pretty much supporting a fruit. And as we work our way up, you can see leaf, fruit, leaf, fruit, leaf, fruit. And that's the pattern. And over here, it looks like this will be a ripe fig in the next day or two. So here we are now in front of another milkweed variety. This here is a California native milkweed. I wish we had hundreds of these and not as many of the tropicals, but the tropicals propagate a lot easier. Again, they're year-round green compared to these that die back in the winter, which is what it's supposed to do for the health of the monarch butterfly. So we're going to be adding a lot more of the California native milkweed varieties, as well as a whole bunch of other California native plants to actually maximize the amount of bees and insects and and wildlife in this garden. So, but this here is an example of a California native plant that we have here in the garden. To my left here is the wonderful pomegranate variety. It's a self-fertile variety, but if you have a second pomegranate, I'd recommend you do something other than a wonderful variety, as having two different species within your same garden will actually maximize the amount of cross-pollination and increase the yields and quality of fruit production. Over here is my loquat tree, and this one here is it's called a Big Jim, is the variety that we have here. So a loquat. This is also a tropical evergreen plant. And then to my right over here is a seedling avocado tree. Not avocado, but this here is a seedling guava tree that I actually got from Hawaii the last time I visited. So you can usually buy those packets of seeds. We planted them, and this year we've now got a plant that's starting to blossom. So we'll have some fruit later on this year on our guava tree. Let me show you some more plants here. So here we are now next to a Valencia orange tree. If you want to zoom in over here, you can actually see the fruit that are just starting. This is second year. We got an orange over here. I know there's about 5 or 6 oranges. Here's another orange, a couple more right there. So there's about 6 or 7 oranges. It's its first year bearing fruit. It's only been in the ground less than 2 years. If we continue over here, you'll actually see in between, we've actually got a zucchini plant. And take a look at that. This is now our second week of actually harvesting zucchinis. As soon as we take this off, then this one here will lengthen. This one over here in the back will lengthen. So we've got 3 coming up. We've got to keep on removing and harvesting your zucchini so that the production continues and energy is not going into seed production. Over here is a cutting I actually took from the president of the Lake Hollywood Estates, Sheila Urani. She actually had a fig tree in her garden. She said she's only harvested less than 5 figs over the last 17 years. This here is a cutting that I actually made last year. And come and take a look at how many fruit we've actually got. So again, this was just cut last year, but you can see every leaf, fruit, leaf, fruit, leaf, fruit, leaf, fruit. Every single leaf has got a fruit going all the way up. So we've actually got more figs on this tree this year than she's actually harvested off of her 17-year-old tree. So good results over here. If we continue, you'll actually see in between we've got a Manzano banana variety. This here is to cross-pollinate with our ice cream banana, which I'm going to show you next. We've got another zucchini plant in here, and take a look at the fruits again. And then back here, this plant will probably be gone the next time we do a video. This is a bromeliad, and if you take a look in here, you can actually see the water. I haven't watered here in the last 2 to 3 days, and there's still water pooling in here. We know that the #1 killer of human beings around the world is mosquitoes, and having water that's pooling and standing like this is one of the issues. So we're going to do another video coming up in the next week or two where we're going to remove the bromeliads and do a few other things around the property to actually get the mosquitoes populations under control. But this here is a plant that if you've got it, I don't recommend having it, and we're going to try to replace, if we've got room here, for a more California native specific species. Come and follow me. We've now got over here a reed avocado tree. This here is a type A avocado. The fruits are typically about £1 a piece. It's supposed to be an excellent tasting avocado, but we've got 3 of them here in the garden, 3 different species of avocado to help cross-pollinate and increase production. And then behind me here is a passion fruit vine. And this year we had 4 of them last year. 3 of them actually died, but just because our winter got too cold. This is a tropical plant, and it basically grows on this arbor that's behind me. So we'll actually swing this branch up here. And we're actually lucky. I didn't expect to see this. But come and zoom in on this flower. This is called a purple passion fruit. Take a look at this flower. One of the most beautiful flowers you can expect to see. What a treat. I wasn't expecting to share this with you today. But this is our first of our passion fruit flowers. And within 3 months, we'll actually be harvesting fruit from this flower. Over here now, to my left, is a ice cream banana. So we saw the Manzano. This here is the ice cream banana. So next year, when these pups actually grow up, when you take a look up, these plants typically flower in the summer. So in the next month or 2, should be flowering, and hopefully we'll be enjoying some fruit later on this year. And these are the pups that will take over after we actually harvest the fruit off of this tree. We'll actually remove the parent plant, and then these pups will be the replacement tree. So I'm hoping that these pups will flower at the same time as the Manzano banana that we saw earlier, and that'll actually increase production between the 2 bananas. And over here we've got our strawberry container. with strawberries in here. We've also got another squash. You'll notice in between we've got companion plants. We've got onions, which are typically very good companion plants with most vegetables. It's going to be in the shade pretty soon, so we're going to harvest those and put them in salads or other meals. Over here we've got some chard, which we've been using for salads. Over here we've got a lemon tea plant, and you basically boil it with water, additional health for the family, but it makes an amazing lemon tea. So consider planting lemon verbena is the name of this plant. If we continue over here, you'll actually see these are the blossoms from the onions, and these plants are still usable whenever we actually need some salads or anything. If you take a look down as we go down below, you'll actually see that these stems are actually quite thick and still have the flavor of onions, and we'll sometimes just use the stems and use that in preparing food. Take a look in here, another zucchini plant, large squash there, and I'm now going to show you this apple variety back here, which we've actually grafted as a 3-in-1. So we've got this apple, which is a green and red variety, if you can see here by the apple. This is the first year that's going into fruit production. And then we've got this apple in the back that's a green variety, and then this side that's all red. But the branches on this have actually started a little bit too high, so we're actually going to prune it down. My graft line is down here, so we're going to prune it right at this point, and then hopefully get some branches that are lower, just like these other two branches. And then just behind me is another fig tree. This is from my grandfather, Saman, and we took this from his garden and made a cutting. And you can see again, every leaf has got a fruit, every leaf of fruit, every leaf of fruit. And that goes all the way up. And by having this here, I feel like I've got a part of his garden and our garden here in Los Angeles. And we'll continue now this way. So over here to my right, this is the Oro Blanco grapefruit. As we go behind it, I'll show you the fruit, but you'll notice on the tree trunk, it's actually all covered in white. You may have already noticed a lot of trees are covered in white. We basically put on it this product called Ivy Organics 3-in-1 tree guard paint, and it says it's a natural tree trunk and branch barrier protection against damaging sunburn, insects, and rodents. And what this is an organic paint with organic oils in there. The white is the highest reflection against sun scald and sunburn. Today's a day that's going to be in the hundreds. We'll be actually over 100 degrees here this first week of summer in Los Angeles. So this year is going to protect against sunburn. In the winter, it protects against sun scald. And it also comes in colors brown and green. And then the oils actually prevent insects from actually getting into the dead tissues of the bark and actually working its way into the living tissues of the tree. So it's got protection against insects and also against rodents. So Ivy Organics 3-in-1 tree guard paint, Oro Blanco, and take a look at the fruit here in the back. And you can take a look. There's about 10 fruit. This is its first year here in the garden, so you can see. And the reason for the name grapefruit is the clusters of fruit, like it's supposed to resemble grapes. So we've got that here. To my right over here is a Bear's lime tree, and you can take a look here at the fruit. And next to that is the flower, and then there's some more flowers over here. And here's another tree. And as they grow, we're going to continue them to actually grow in the spaces that we've planted them. Over here is a Fuerte avocado tree. You can see it's now about 6 feet tall. This was installed about 1.5 years ago. If you take a look down here as well, you can see the tree trunk is coated with the Ivy Organics 3-in-1 tree guard paint, again to basically protect the heart of the tree. As long as this is protected, it'll continue to branch and grow and fruit and not spend its time actually trying to repair damaged tissues by sunburn or other issues. This here to my right is actually a gift that we got from a Chinese client, and I've grafted this onto a rootstock of a guava, and you can actually see the fruit in here if you want to zoom in. So here we are in the month of June. You can see how small the fruit are, but last year we had about 5 other varieties of avocados, and this one was by far the best tasting. It's a yellow variety with you know, it just had the perfect tropical flavor, better than even the pink varieties that we had. So again, there's no name for it. It was a gift and it was grown from a seed, so it's not a variety you'll find in the nursery. And then last but not least, my Haas avocado tree, as you can see here, and also painted with the Ivy Organics 3-in-1 tree guard paint. So these represent the trees. I've just shared with you 20 fruit trees, over 20 fruit trees that are actually growing here in the garden. And there's some more vegetables I want to share with you as well. Come and follow me. So this here is the Ruby seedless grape variety. And if you take a look, if you want to follow the stem up here, and you can actually see how I've got it growing on this trellis, which I've actually built for the tomatoes here. And you'll take a look over here at the clusters of fruits that are just starting to develop over here. And then as we work our way over, we'll actually see our vertical tomato garden. And this here was just installed with a video that we just put up yesterday. And this here is the Sweet 100 variety. It's something that has always been in this garden for the last several years. We enjoy it because of the huge quantities of cherry tomatoes that we get for the house. So this here, just because of the limited space, will grow as a single stem tomato. And you can see our other videos on how we actually create these. This here is my early grow variety, and we're growing this as a double stem. And then this one here is my Better Boy variety. And let me show you some of these tomatoes that are just starting to develop in here. And you can see some more in here. And it just goes on and on. Here's a couple more tomatoes. So these are all Better Boys, and again, we've grown this as 3 stems. You can see this is stem number 1, stem number 2, and stem number 3. And that will fill up this space over here. And then we've got my early grow variety. This one here was planted about 90 days ago. So this one has about a month head start against the other ones that are behind me. And you can see the fruit that are in here as well. This cluster alone, and about every foot it makes a cluster of flowers and fruit. But in this cluster, let me count how many fruit we've got here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 fruit in just this one cluster right here. And then there's another cluster over here, another cluster over there, another cluster over here, and it just works its way all the way up. And then eventually this here will make the roof of what's going to become our tomato cave. And as we continue over here now, these here are called the our Heinz Super Roma tomatoes. And let me show you what some of these fruit actually look like in here. And you can actually see a cluster of fruit over here. And you can see how they've got that oval shape. And if we continue over here, this one here is a San Marzano tomato. And if you take a look over here, you can actually see what the fruit of this variety look like. Another oval shaped fruit. If you like this video, be sure to like it. Most importantly, subscribe down below so you don't miss out on any of these other Ivory Organics gardening tip videos that we put on average once a month. Again, thanks for watching. Happy gardening.